The confidence is quite surprising considering you challenged Robbie and lost.
And we're back. I've got the influencer to my right.
Finish. Easy. Slide.
And we've got the fan to my left.
1-1.
They're going to go up against me.
Lucky.
Baby.
You can win up to £1,500. Yes, £1,500 and an Arsenal hamper. Last week on AFTV Picks, I gave away a brand new PS5. This week, I got all this. The Arsenal home kit, the Arsenal away kit, the Arsenal fur kit, training kit, tracksuit, hat, scarf, Gunnosaurus. And you know what? I've even got something for you to put it in. AFTV Picks. If you registered last week, you don't have to register again. It's free. The link is in the description and get it in before Sunday's game against Burnley.
Is that for me?
No, go and play AFTV Picks like everybody else. Plus, you got all of this. Hi, and welcome along to AFTV News Daily. Hope you guys have been having a great day. Just been watching that boring Manchester derby. Trust me, that was a dead game. 0-0, and yeah, boring. But you know the interesting thing is, right? And I know DT keeps saying it in all the videos we keep doing. And again, we did the podcast, and he said it again, right? He said it again. I look at the table, right? We're on 13 points, right? If we used to win that game tomorrow, which we're going to touch on, the game against Burnley, we'd only be 3 points behind Manchester City. That's the mad thing about this season. Anyway, we're going to get into that. But I hope you guys are feeling well. By the way, don't forget, AFTV Picks sponsoring the show tonight. As you would have seen in that ad, we are giving away a load of stuff on AFTV Picks. I've actually got the stuff here. You know, I've got some of it here. Wait, bear with me a second, right? I'm going to see if I can grab up some of this. Right. Was it? Yeah. Is it? Load of it's in this bag. All right. So, for instance, that's the bag that's in the video that it all goes in. There's loads of kit, everything, right? Home kit, away kit, third kit, training kit, tracksuit, hat, scarf, your complete Arsenal gear, right? So if you want to win that, all you got to do is go onto the app. The link is in the description for AFTV Picks, and you just got to go head to head with me. Really, really simple to do. Just register on it. If you've registered last week, you don't have to register again. And you can win yourself £1,500 and all that Arsenal gear. And you saw last week, 3 different people shared £1,000. So they all shared about £300 each. And Seb over there in India won the PS5. Absolutely unbelievable, right? So make sure. And I like this one. Cole says it's the Thai starter pack. Thai ain't got half of the stuff in there, trust me. Right, so yeah, you need to check out the competition, and the link is in the description. But anyway, this guy here, complete Arsenal relegation gear on sale now. As I said, looking at the table, I'm trying to be optimistic here on a Saturday night. If Arsenal were to win that game, they would go on to 16 points, which is only 3 points behind Manchester City, right? So it wouldn't be the end of the world. But we need a win tomorrow. Tomorrow is a massive game. Absolutely huge. And we really, really need to get 3 points. Looking at Burnley, they're in the bottom 3 at the moment. They've played 10 games. They've only won 1 game this season, Burnley. Drawn 3, lost 6. It's all set up for an Arsenal win. I think the last 9 occasions we've played Burnley at home, we've beaten them. Right? It's all set up. However, we know how this team's been playing this season, and nothing is a given. Nothing is a given. So really and truly, what I wanted to find out from you guys tonight is, can we do it? Can we register a win at home? Can we break our poor record that we've had at home this season. Can Arsenal get that win, get that W tomorrow, which would be absolutely huge? Can we do it? If we don't do it, if we don't get 3 points, even a draw, I think, would be a terrible result when you consider where Burnley are in the bottom 3 at the moment. What does that do for Mikel Arteta? Do you still say to yourself, we keep faith in him? Do you say to yourself, you know what, that's it now? He's you know, we've got to change manager. Or do you think we keep patience with him? I don't want to really be thinking about losses because we really, really got to win the game. As this guy, Mordiskia, says, it's a must-win, Robbie. Players must step up tomorrow and take chances. All these players that put stuff on Instagram and come on, guys, and we're going to lift ourselves up and that's brilliant. But the talking finishes tomorrow. They've got to deliver on the pitch. And it won't be an easy game, even though Burnley are down there. We know what Burnley are like. They're a resilient team. They're very defensive, you know, and they're the type of team that will play with that low block. They will play with that low block, and they'll be very, very difficult to break down. It's one of those games that if Arsenal come out of the blocks quickly, get a couple of early goals, we could run riot. But it's one of those goals that if we don't do that, they're going to frustrate the life out of us, and it could be a very long evening. The other thing I'd like to know from you guys is, do you think the fact that there's going to be 2,000 fans inside there, do you think that that will make a difference? 2,000 fans inside the stadium, will that make a difference to Arsenal? Remember, we've been playing all of our Premier League games behind closed doors. The last game we played with fans was in the Carabao Cup, in the Europa League. It's a similar, right? And a couple of the fans that went to that game that we interviewed afterwards said that it did make a difference. You could see that the players reacted to it. So will that make a difference? So I really want to hear from you guys today. Really, really want to hear from you guys today. And I want to get as many as your comments read out as possible. Richard Carter says, Robbie, would you consider Martinelli in the number 10 role? No, because he's not really a number 10. We got to play him in his right position. As we're on that subject, I've been doing my team. And again, you can go onto at AFTV VIP. There's loads of great features on there. As AFTV Picks is on there. You've also got a feature on there where you can select your own team, right, that you think should play. I've done that. I've selected my team. You can see it there, right? Let me run you through what the team that I put together. You may disagree. I'd love to hear from you guys who you think should play. But Leno in goal. I've gone with Cedric at right back. I know it might not happen. I know he'll probably go with Bellerin. But for me, Bellerin has been very, very poor in recent games. I would drop him and I would bring in Cedric at right back. David Luiz, if fit, he has to come in for me alongside, of course, Gabriel, one of the first names on the team sheet right now. Kieran Tierney at left back. I'm going to 4-3-3. Then here's my midfield, which is quite interesting. Ceballos and El Neni. Granit Xhaka, again, I thought had a very poor game last week. Willian in that number 10 role. That's who I'd have in the middle there. Willian in that number 10 role. Then a front three of Reece Nelson, Aubameyang down the middle, and Saka. That would be my team for tomorrow. I want a team that's going to run at that Burnley defense. I think Nelson will run at it. I think Saka will run at it. I think Willian in that number 10 role will provide for Aubameyang, and that's what I would like to see tomorrow. But again, would love to hear from you guys as to what you think the team should be. Let's go through some comments. Fapello says, apparently Arteta wants to loan Martinelli. If he does, he can go himself. Disgraceful. He keeps Eddie, but not Martinelli. Arteta is killing our club. Now, that's a rumor. So that's a rumor. And, let's wait and see. I very much doubt that rumor, to be honest. Bakerman says he's going to start Bellerin and Xhaka, Willian, so we will lose. he might start those guys. I mean, they didn't play the other night, which is quite significant that they didn't play the other night. But for me, Bellerin and Xhaka are badly off form. I wouldn't play him in that game. If I was going to play one of the two of them, it'd probably be Xhaka, because Burnley are a very physical team. Xhaka's a very physical player. So I could understand it from that point of view. When you've got set pieces coming in and stuff like that, Xhaka will be very useful in that. Bellerin, for me, doesn't start that game. I just think he's been very poor recently. And I wouldn't start him. JT22 says, we need Aubameyang to finally score tomorrow. You know what? There's been a lot of people saying that he shouldn't start either, Aubameyang. And under normal circumstances, I'd probably agree with them, because he's been very, very poor as well. But I just got the feeling that this is the game where he can score, where he can get liftoff for his season. So for me, he has to start. Zara says, tomorrow is a must-win game. Absolutely, Zara. Let's not dress it up in any other way. A draw is like a loss to me. A draw is like a loss. So no, you know, it's a must-win game. Don't dress it up in any other way. King Say Gambian Guna says, Martinez had another man of the match, 4 clean sheets away from home with Villa. Another master stroke by Mikel Arteta. I think he's saying that. Now, listen, I think Martinez was excellent today. I watched that game earlier, and I thought he was brilliant in that game. But let's just be real here, right? He wanted guarantees that he was going to start every game, Emi Martinez, right? They wanted to keep him, right? They couldn't give him those guarantees, and so he decided to leave. You can't, I don't think you can blame that one on Arteta. You've got a guy there that's been at the club for 10 years, has hardly played, has come in and done brilliantly. He wanted to leave. There's not a lot you can do. As goalkeepers is a really difficult situation. You can't blame that one on Arteta for me. Shiv says, yo, Cronky, if you're watching this, I doubt it. Violate some FIFA transfer rule and make it seem neutral. It will get you transfer banned and take the pressure off you. We need to spend some money. Definitely need to spend some money. SB says, if Bellerin plays, Dwight McNeil will bully him. Dwight McNeil, of course, plays out wide for Burnley. Very good player as well. Very tricky player. Again, we're going to have to be on it. We're going to have to be 100% on it. Jasmeet Singh says, Robbie, you missed my super chat. Did I? I ain't seen it. He said, Emery had 9 points in his last 7 games, still got sacked, rightly. Arteta has 4 points in his last 7 games, still the board not talking about sacking. Why? Well, I think, listen, I think if we lose against Burnley tomorrow, that discussion has to be had. I'm not necessarily saying he should be sacked, but I think the pressure would be mounting, really, really mounting if we were to lose that game. I think the circumstances are a bit different. Emery had completely lost the dressing room. That was obvious. Emery had a full season. Emery had got us humiliated in the final of the Europa League. We missed out on top 4 when we should definitely have made the top 4. And then we entered into the season after and we were atrocious. It was going completely downhill. In this case, I don't know. You could still possibly see an upturn, but it has to start tomorrow. Alex Iwobi fan says, Robbie, every time Arteta loses in the big games, he gradually makes it harder for himself as a manager. Agent E says, fans will make a difference, I believe. Must-win game, hoping Aubameyang turns up. Come on, you Gunners. He got to turn up. This is a game. He's got a great goal-scoring record against... he's got a fantastic goal-scoring record against Burnley as well. So this is the game. He's got to come good in this game. And Arsenal need him to come good. And we've got a lot of games coming up. Remember, on Wednesday night, we got Southampton, who've been playing brilliantly this season. So we've got to get on a little bit of a run. We have to, and it's got to start with that Burnley game. Nobby says Xhaka was better when he was dirtier. Now the game has moved on and the referees are on him. Decent point. It's why I feel that he might play tomorrow. Because I just feel that, you know, his physicality will help in that type of game. Ben says, play 2 up front, Arteta. Shout. Wanja Douglas says, Aubameyang needs to be rested. We need Nketiah and Balogun. Not for me. Aubameyang has to start in that game. We've got to get him scoring again. Hadis said you would drop Lacazette just for this game. You know what it is, Hadis, here? When I was working out my team, right? So, again, I'll tell you about my team again. And as I said, if you go onto the app, you can download your team. But when I was working out my team, right, I want to play a more attacking team. I want to play 4-3-3, right? And I want creativity in that midfield. So that's why I put Willian there in that number 10 position. And then you can only, obviously, 3 up front. And I'm just looking at it and I'm just saying, I want somebody who's going to really run at the defense, right? Because it's going to be a low block. We need somebody who can run and actually get in behind. And I just feel Reece Nelson, if he's fit, on one wing, Saka down the other wing, who can be tricky, down the other wing, and Aubameyang down the middle. Later on, if it's not working, you can bring on Lacazette. But that was what I would start with. Plus, as well, remember as well, lots of games coming up. That's the other thing we've got to take into consideration. I think a lot of these players, the squad's going to get rotated a lot over these next few games because there's so many games coming up in such a short space of time. Akhilesh says, you say Emery humiliated us at Europa, but forget to mention Arteta humiliated us versus Olympiacos. Arteta also won us a trophy. You forget to mention that, you know, and that is what's brought him. Let's be real. That's brought him a lot of credit in the bank. Had he had not won the FA Cup at the end of the season and started the season like this, I think his job would be under a lot more pressure. Pranav says, do you think Smith Rowe should start as we have a creativity issue and he is a creative player? Cedric over Bellerin for me in this game. You could put in that number 10 role, you could put Smith Rowe in there. I'm just thinking maybe a bit more experience in this game because Burnley are one of those wily old teams. So that could be an option. I like Smith Rowe, you know. Is he fully fit? Is he, you know, I don't know. But again, another player could get rotated in games to come. Ben says Arteta needs to play 2 up front. Why is it that managers like Lampard and Arteta are playing fast strikers in the wing? Play them central. PS, free Ozil. Well, it doesn't look like Ozil's going to get freed up anytime soon. Thank you very much for this one, Chris. He says, big up Robbie and AFTV. Smash up the likes, everybody. Do that. Thank you. We appreciate that all the time. Lil Ozzy says, free Guendouzi and Ozil. Someone was saying to me that, did he score today? Guendouzi? Somebody was saying to me. I don't know if it was true or not. I haven't had that confirmed. Pitchrim just said, Robbie, I just heard an explanation for the draw between Manchester United and Man City. It was a boring game, that was. Haliel says, Bellerin can't deliver crosses. He can't take a throw either. That's the thing about it. You know what I mean? I just think that, I mean, don't get me wrong. I do think he's going to play Bellerin tomorrow. And Karnesh says, are we actually scapegoating Bellerin too much? I accept that he does all the silly stuff like foul throw, but I think someone should have covered his position when he attacks. Sagna attacked more too. Yes, we probably do scapegoat him too much. You know, he has been getting the brunt of a lot of criticism, and I think that throw-in stuff hasn't helped. But I just feel that he's been poor in the past few games, and if somebody's been poor, drop him out. And you know, I know people are going to say, well, why not drop out Aubameyang? I think it's a slightly different in this case because there's not that immediate replacement. I think in the case of Bellerin, you could leave him out of this game. See how Cedric does. If Cedric does well, then play Cedric against Southampton. Remember, he used to play against Southampton. Then you could bring Bellerin back for the game against Everton because we're going to have to rotate the squad right around. But certainly, he's been off form. It's not just a fact that you know, that he's getting picked on. I think he's been also pretty poor recently. Elvis says, I would love to see Cedric get a start tomorrow. He's better than Bellerin, in my opinion. We need to give him a chance. I mean, Bellerin, the problem with Bellerin recently has been poor crosses, and defensively, he's been very poor as well. And you can't be not good going forward and defending if you're playing that wing-back position. You need to offer something. You've got to be good in at least one area, you know? So, but I don't think he'll get dropped tomorrow, if I'm being honest. MO2 says, buy Awar in January. Well, we're getting linked to Awar. We're getting a link to Sablosley. I saw it reading today that he's more likely to end up at RB Leipzig. They seem to be the favourites to sign him, so he might not be heading to Arsenal come January. Remember, RB Leipzig just beat Man United. They're through to the next stages of the Champions League. And under the new rules, he'd be able to play in the Champions League. So, and RB Leipzig, RB Salzburg, they're both linked, both owned by the same people. So we may not get him. Big says Arteta will stay until the end of the season for sure. But what will be the definition of failure for him? Well, I wouldn't say, you know what? I think if he starts to turn things around, he'll stay. I think if we carried on losing this amount of games, I don't know. There's always a tipping point. Ashwin S says, some say it's the players' fault, but who picks the players consistently? Some say Arsenal need CAM. Creating through the centre is not the only option. Of course, a lot of it can come down the wings, but we're not creating from the wings yet. Do you know the one thing I'd like to see tomorrow? And I don't know where you guys feel about this, right? Whichever team plays, whichever team runs out onto that pitch tomorrow, I want them to make a fast, quick start. Right from the whistle blows, straight into the faces of Burnley. Aggressive forward play. That's what I want to see from Arsenal. That is what has been lacking in the home games this season. We've started off the games like a snail. We're just teetering along, trying to make something happen, pass. But no, in their faces, aggressive play, straight at them is what I want to see tomorrow. I want to see that tomorrow. And I want to see that from the Arteta team at home. Now, will the fact that, you know, there's fans there, will that make a difference? You know, will that make a difference? It might do. You know, maybe they are going to respond, you know, but, you know, it's up to those players as well. I mean, I'm sure he's going to send them out telling them to do that. But the players have got to put it in tomorrow. They really do. Agent E saying, excuse me, there, he says, Ainsley Maitland-Niles over Bellerina, he calls him. For me, Robbie, man's too busy modelling and planting trees. Again, I feel, and you know what, I remember when we had a little bit of running with Bellerin, and somebody who's sort of close to his people was sort of saying at the time that, you know, his people were upset that we had fans coming on the channel. And at the time, Bellerin was going for a pretty rough time. And that some of the people close to him were saying that apparently his people were saying this, yeah? It was a bit upset that fans were coming on the channel and sort of mocking him about fashion and stuff like that. And I say this, and this is not just Hector Bellerin. This applies to every single footballer in the land. If you're playing well, you can wear what you want. You can drive what you want. Within reason, you can do what you want. Yeah? I mean, I saw some stuff with Jack Grealish a couple of days ago, right? But he's playing well. So it will just go, no one really cares. Wear what you want. Messi, he dyed his hair blonde. Who cares? Aguero, blonde hair, blonde beard. You know? Nobody cares about hairstyles, what you're wearing, anything when you're playing well. If you're playing badly, it's a different matter. People don't want to hear nothing about fashion. People don't want to hear nothing about planting trees. People start to think and start to associate things like that. And it's probably wrong to do it, but it's a natural thing that happens. People start to associate that with a loss of focus, that you're focused upon things outside football rather than concentrating on your performances on the pitch. This is why you get players that they won't be too much on social media, or they won't be too much doing all these different things outside when their form dips. Somebody will nudge them in their team and say, you know what? It's just, I know you've got all these outside things. I think we better just concentrate on the pitch right now because it's not happening there. And that's why you get criticized for those things. Mark my word, and I've been following football all my life. If Bellerin was playing brilliantly, absolutely nobody cares how much fashion shows he goes to. Absolutely nobody cares how many trees he wants to plant. As a matter of fact, they'll commend him for them. Lewis Hamilton at the moment saying a lot of things about issues outside of motor racing, like the environment, like Black Lives Matter movement, like lots of issues he's involved with outside of football. Does anyone complain about it? No, because he's winning. He's the best. So that's why you get criticized. Anyway, sorry. Just trying to break it down. Sunglasses 70 says, Robbie, would you take David Moyes as Arsenal manager? No, he's doing very well at the moment. And funny thing is, as you say that, is that I remember my West Ham mates at the start of the season, after the first couple of games, they were all universally saying that Moyes should be sacked. They stuck it out, and now they're fifth in the table and playing brilliantly. So maybe that's a lesson to be learned for us. TJ John says, I believe Chambers is an underrated, solid, versatile player. Should be included more going forward. Well, of course, he's been out injured for a very long time. He looked the other night to me still a little bit rusty. So I think it'd be too early to bring him back in. But long term, yeah, before he got injured, he was doing, he was doing excellently. But it's how he recovers from that. Jim Stamatic says Flamini was doing a lot and we didn't know about it. He kept it low key, not flashy. True. Sounds like a line from Scarface. That low key, keep it low key. Do flash. Sam says Saliba has to stay. One for the future. Also give Emile Smith-Rowe and AZ Maitland-Niles a game. Buying Awar in January is a must. This Saliba thing, I mean, I saw a bit more come out about that from Arteta, but again, they're still thinking of sending him on loan. I want them to keep Saliba. Keep Saliba. Even the other day, I saw him on that Instagram story thing that he was doing with Lacazette, and you can see the guy's really gutted that he's not playing. Get him back in the squad. Get him back in things in January. Get this guy playing, man. I want to see him in the team. Ridwan says, Robbie, Bellerin is more suited to holding the width. If we want to play inverted fullbacks like Man City, Maitland-Niles or Cedric is more suited to that role. Our problem is the structure, not the personnel. No, I don't know. I just feel that Bellerin, he gets forward well. But when I look at him and Cedric play, Cedric gets forward and he holds the width better, if you ask me. He can get forward and he can get to the byline and whip a cross in, or get to the byline. He'll overlap more. Bellerin tends to get the ball, come inside a lot. He gets inside a lot. He can do that well. He can pick the ball up and drive inside well, but certainly his delivery has not been great. And when you're playing out as a wing back, it's very, very important that, you've got to have good delivery. You've got to have end product on the end of it. That's why Liverpool are so good at that. Robertson on one wing, on the other wing, you've got Trent Alexander-Arnold, and they've just got so much end product. Our end product from out wide, and it's not just Bellerin. Let's have it right now. It's not just Bellerin. Our end product is not good enough. Ozil better than Arsenal saying Bellerin is just being used as a scapegoat. Really? I think he's saying, really? I think he doesn't feel that. I mean, is he? I'd like to know from you guys. Is he being used as a scapegoat? You know. Rigel says, many of your fans want Allegri, but why would a manager like Allegri, who is successful, want a club in turmoil and a board who don't spend, and you are frankly stuck with Arteta, a cheap option, and Arteta was much a cheap option. I mean, if you look at how much Arsenal paid to get Arteta in comparison to what Tottenham paid, I think Tottenham are paying double for Mourinho. It was a much cheaper option to get Arteta in. Right, King Sate Guna, he's got his Gambian Guna, shall I say, he's got his team what he thinks he'd like to play. Leno, Cedric, Saliba. Saliba's not in the squad, so he wouldn't be able to play. Saliba, Gabriel Tierney, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, El Neni, Emil Smith-Rowe, Reece Nelson, Aubameyang, and Saka. Would be my team. Some of the other players have been poor for months and still start. Why? It's true. I don't know why. And if they do, you know what? I'll tell you what, those guys, if Xhaka, Bellerin, Aubameyang, if they do start tomorrow, they owe the manager. He's showing a lot of faith in them. Time to repay the guy that is showing so much faith in you. Diogo Jota says, have a really strong feeling Burnley are going to do Arsenal tomorrow. Obviously a Liverpool fan. Their hunger to get a win will overcome Arsenal's. Well, let's be remembering right now that they are in a very poor position, Burnley as well. That's why I feel that they ain't going to come desperate for a win. I mean, they're desperate for a win, but I think they'll come looking for even a point because they're in the bottom three. They're on 6 points. West Brom are below them. They've got 6 points as well, but they played 2 more games. Sheffield United only got 1 point, and just ahead of them are Fulham. And Fulham have got 7 points, but they've played a game more. So a draw for Burnley would be a decent point at a place where they never really do anything. So you already know what type of Burnley's going to turn up. They're going to be aggressive, but they're going to be very defensive. That's how they play when they go away from home. They're not going to come and have a go. The emphasis is upon us, and we have to go for it. Herman says, do you want Arteta to be sacked? The answer is no. I want Arteta to succeed. But he's got to start getting results. Got to. PS says the strongest team when everyone's fit. Martinelli, Aubameyang, Pepe, Saka, Ceballos, Partey, Tierney, Gabriel, Mari, Bellerin, Leno. Not quite sure. Curry Big Curry says, hi, Don Robbie. What's your ideal 11 to start next season? These transfers can be unrealistic. Well, listen, I'd have Messi. Listen, you already know. Right? I don't even like being unrealistic no more. We got to be real with this thing. We got to be real. Look at Flowers is saying, inconsistency is a major problem at Arsenal. We don't know what we'll get week in, week out. Well, I think at the moment we do. Rubbish. We've been consistently poor in recent games. So that's what they have to break. Yasser says, Robbie, United and Spurs were in similar positions this time last year. I agree we've been poor, but we still have time to turn it around. We mustn't forget that it's been raining. Listen, we are sitting in 15th. There's no denying that, on 13 points. Yeah? If we win tomorrow, though, that could push us up the table. We go, when I say push up the table a couple of points. But we'd only be, as I said, 3 points behind Man City, 4 points behind Man United, and we'd be, 7 points off the top 4, possibly. So it's not the end. It can be turned around. You have to go on a run. And we ain't seen no runs this season. Handsome, good luck. Buddy says, will Martinelli be available for Sunday? I very much doubt it that he will play. Zahid says, I think Arsenal need to go Wenger back, not as a manager, but as a middleman between Arteta manager and Kroenke the owner. Once Wenger sees a problem, he discuss it with the owners for solutions. I don't think that's the answer at all. I think Arsene Wenger, great manager, his time has passed at Arsenal. We got to look to the future. We can't just keep going back. A. Dot says, Bellerin out. We need a centre-back to pair with Gab, a creative midfielder, and a left wing like Zaha. So Aubameyang can play down the middle with Pepe on the right. So you're ready sorting out your transfers, getting it in early. JK says, so far the big teams are showing their respect for one another. On the other hand, when they come up against us, we're a poor team. Fear factor is long gone. Kingsley Opera says, the fans are going to be very instrumental tomorrow. The players could do with their energy and their support. I think that's going to help a lot. I really do. The fact that there's 2,000 fans in there going to be rearing them on. Those fans are going to be glad to be there, glad to be watching an Arsenal game. You know, I wish it was me. My name's in the ballot. I still ain't even got nowhere near it yet. But hopefully it will help. Daniel says, blame Arteta for Bellerin and blame the board for Arteta. Father-son duo ruining the season. Don, get them all out as soon as possible. Oof. Sign says, Robbie, we need a player like Bruno Fernandes who can score from midfield and create chances. He's pure talent and has lifted United from the dead. We need someone like that in our midfield. You are 100% right. The midfield doesn't score any goals. How many goals have we scored from midfield so far this season? The answer is 0. In the Premier League, that is. Not one goal from central midfield. That's shocking. 11 games in, not one goal. Trusay says, unless there's a change in the ownership, nothing will have changed this time next year. Steve Pindar says, we need leaders in January. Alex Valerio says he has got the players he needed to play in his system. He has found a balance which works consistently for his team to get results. You're not talking about Arsenal, are you? Surely. Andre says Cedric needs to be starting. I agree. I'd start Cedric tomorrow. I said it. 4man44NX says Ozil in. We need him until January and then bring in Awar. In January, transfer. We have no creativity in the team whatsoever. It's embarrassing and it's getting out of hand. Ozil's not in the squad. Remember, he can't, even if we wanted to play him, he couldn't play. Unless we brought him back in January. And to me, if we fail to get the creative players that we're looking for, it's a shout to bring him back in. Oral Smith says, Wagwan, Don Robbie, big up yourself, my youth. He says Arsenal should sign back Jack Wilshere on a pay-as-you-play contract to replace Xhaka for the rest of the season. Then use Wilshere, Partey, and Danny as a midfield free. That's another player that's got to step up tomorrow as well, you know. Danny Ceballos. He's been a bit disappointing as well. That's another guy who's got to step up tomorrow. Farhan says, Robbie, after every loss, you keep saying the next match is a huge match with a lot of pressure on Arteta. Please tell me how long this is going to happen. I think if he loses tomorrow and loses against Southampton, you've got to consider a change. You got to, do you go into January giving possible funds to a manager that would have lost 8 games? Much as I love Arteta, I don't think so. That's my honest opinion. Diogo says, honest opinion on Saka. I think he's been overrated and this season is proving it, especially after all the chances he is missing, and it can't be blamed on form. He has missed some key chances. He missed that chance against Leeds that would have won us the game, even though he didn't deserve it. He missed a chance last week against Tottenham, but he's definitely not overrated. He's a top player, but he's a young player. Look how, even when he came in for England, how well he done. He's not underrated. He's not overrated, sorry. But yes, he needs to be more clinical. Mishan says Willock is a number 8, not a number 10. And that's why I wouldn't play him at number 10, because Willock is a box-to-box midfielder. He's not... I mean, the one thing I like about Willock is he does arrive in the box late. He makes late runs into the box. You know, he's effective in that way. But he is not an attack here. He's not a creative midfielder. That's why I would play Willian there. And I'm going to give you my team again. And as I said, check out our app, AFTV.mobi. The link is in the description. We've got some great features on there, including this one where you can select your team. And this is my team. Leno in goal. Cedric, right back. I've gone for a 4-3-3 formation. David Luiz, Gabriel, and Tierney. 3 in midfield. Ceballos and El Neni holding. No Xhaka. With Willian just in front of them as your creative number 10. And then on the wing, Nelson, Aubameyang through the middle, and Saka on the other wing. That's the team I would start with. Agent E says, leave Saka alone, FFS. The kid's 19 and he's been one of our best players so far, and I agree with you on that. Reece says, if we win tomorrow and lose against Southampton, then I'm sorry, but Arteta out. Listen, Southampton have been playing brilliantly this season. That's not a given that we win both of those games. Nye says, I wish we had Guendouzi. He had the fight and was a very good player. He did have a lot of fight, maybe too much fight, always getting himself in problems. Nathan S. says, Robbie, if you had to play one striker for the rest of the season for every game, who would it be? It'd be Aubameyang. You know? Mikey B400 says, who's going to call out Aubameyang for downing tools? He hasn't downed tools. He's off form. He's been poor. Simple as that. A loss of form. It happens, man. It happens to the best of them. It's how he comes back. Tomorrow's that opportunity. He has to take it. Samuel says, Leno out. Oh, come on. Although, right, I'm not saying Leno out in no way whatsoever at all. He's a quality keeper, but I was saying to DT on the podcast, and I was saying to him, we were having a chat before, he should have saved that Son goal last week. I'm sorry. I've looked at it again. It's not even in the corner. He should have done better there. Should have done better. Even I was at my son's football this morning, and unfortunately, oh man, there's so many everywhere I go at the moment. It's Tottenham fans, man. Left, right, and centre, everywhere you go. Oh, right. But even they were saying they thought he should have saved it as well. He should have done better on that. Definitely should have done better on that. Gregor says, Robbie, will you never learn? Willian is as ineffective has been. He's truly past his best. He's probably right. But let's try him in that position. It's the only person I know who can play it in the squad right now, apart from one guy who sat at home on Fortnite because he's been squeezed out of the team. So try him. Saka should not be blamed. He plays well, but he's not a prolific goal scorer just yet. He should have finished those chances last week. It's not about being a prolific goal scorer. It's just about taking your chances. And he didn't take them. So, you know. Conway says, Robbie, if Arteta goes, what manager do you want to see coming in at Arsenal? I wanted Allegri even before Arteta came in. That's quite well documented as Allegri. So I'd like to, you know, somebody like Allegri. If Arteta was to go, someone who comes in like that and steadies the ship. If not, might be controversial. I'll probably go for Pochettino, even though he's never ever won anything. Again, he knows the Premier League. Let's hope Arteta can work it out, you know. Rohan says, Robbie, Chelsea or Everton win tonight? I think I went for a Chelsea win. No, what's the score in that game? Let me see. I'm sure it started at, didn't it start at 8 o'clock? Here's the score. Let me see what's going on in that game. It's 0-0 at the moment. Yeah. Colin Jr. says, Don, do you think Troops is being impatient? I think so. I think he is, yeah. But then that's Troops. Troops don't get... You don't have a lot of patience, but I do think he's being a bit impatient. Denzel says, play the kids. Everybody says that. Play the kids. Throw the kids in there. And if they lose, why are we playing kids in a game? It's too... Listen, we're in a crisis at the moment. I don't think you can play a team full of kids. I think these senior players have to fight their way out of this crisis. It's up to them. And a mixture of them and the kids. But a team full of kids, especially playing against a team like Burnley, are you crazy? Nah. They'll get taken to school. Burnley are, they're a proper team. Proper team. There's going to be a tough game. It's not going to be easy tomorrow. I can guarantee you that. Chris says Bellerin plants trees. Convenient considering he's always rooted to the ground with the exception of the Grealish incident. He should be wearing a clown's outfit. Oh, God. That's a type of fashion that suits him. So he's obviously not a fan. Chris, should he start tomorrow? I think I know what your answer is already. Joshua says we need midfielders that drive the ball forward. Joshua, 100% right. That is part of the big problems. No one's picking the ball up and driving. That's why I want Reece Nelson, and that's why I want Saka in there, because they are two that pick the ball up and drive with the ball. And we do not have those type of players, or we are not doing that enough. That's why it's been very easy to set up in a low block. We're just passing it around. And not only are we passing it around, we're doing it very slowly. Then it's even easier to deal with. If you're going to pass the ball around, you got to pop that ball. It's got to be going dup, 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 quick. You pass the ball around slowly against a team like, you pass the ball around slowly against a team like Burnley. They love that. That's food and drink. They'll just set up deep, try and win it, knock it up to Chris Wood. He'll hold it up, try and get Dwight McNeil and those guys up alongside him, and they'll hurt us. Try and win set pieces high up the pitch, get the ball in. I'm sorry. We've got to be a lot more quicker, a lot more aggressive, and somebody's got to be running at players. It's too predictable at the moment, that what I've been seeing. Way too predictable. Rudra G says a massive relegation battle tomorrow. Low block derby. It's not even a joke, is it? If we lose that game, we're in a relegation dogfight. Could you imagine that? Raymond says, please tell Arteta not to play Xhaka, please, unless he's playing him with Ainsley Maitland-Niles. And of course, Xhaka will shine as Ainsley Maitland-Niles does pick up his sloppy mistakes. How much longer are we going to put up with these sloppy mistakes before somebody just realizes that? Same says, hi Don Robbie, do you think our youngsters perform enough in the Premier League side besides Saka? Look at Chelsea, even all the new signings like Mount, Abraham, still playing every week. James put Aspilicueta on the bench. I think a lot of our young players, you're right, Saka's come in and he deserves his place in the starting lineup. I think when Reece Nelson's come in, he's done all right. Apart from that, the others, when they've stepped up into the first team, I'm not on about Europa League, like Willock, he's not really done it. Ainsley, when he's come in recent games, been all right. No one's knocking down the door. No one's beating it down. It's tough because when you come in as a young player into a team that's not playing well, it's tough for us to expect that young player, it's a bit like what that guy was saying before, to take on the mantle and be that talisman. That should fall to the senior players, really. But none of them, Eddie Nketiah as well, did well during the week in the Europa League, playing well in the Europa League, but hasn't done it in the Premier League. Now, that's the challenge. These young players are getting a lot of chances in the first team and could establish themselves as first-team players. But when you get that chance, got to take it. Gregor says, Robbie, dude, if you want someone in the number 10 role, then surely have a hungry attacking player like Smith Rowe. Give him a chance, not Willian. Yeah. Even I'm not against trying Smith Rowe in there. I'm not against that. Rune Norse says Eddie's too lightweight and not good enough. He has been a bit lightweight in this game. Farhan says Sabias has been a terrible sign, very average. Those who are saying the next Cazorla should apologise for insulting Santi like that. As I said, another player that really needs a big game tomorrow. Dramatic 12 says, do you think Arteta plays 3 in the back and converts it into a 5 in the back because our defence can't handle the pressure? Tierney and Gabriel are the only ones who can play in a back 4. That's why he plays a 3, because our defence is not good enough. I think most managers want to play with 4 at the back. D4MT says, has Ty been to Nigeria? Oh, that was funny on the stream the other night. I'll tell you, don't forget to watch our watch-along stream. It was hilarious the other night with Ty. Let's see if he brings his passport in tomorrow with that stamp in it to say he's been to Nigeria. Joel Farmer says, Don Robbie, new signings or new manager? Well, I'd like to think it's new signings. But as I said, I'm going to say to everybody again, we're being real. We're being real here. Managers can't just lose games and expect to keep their job. Doesn't matter whether you're Mikel Arteta. Doesn't matter who you are. Ranieri won the league for Leicester. Next year was losing game after game, got sacked. They won the league the season before. You know, we talk about credit in the bank from the FA Cup. That only goes for so long. Mikel Arteta has got to start winning games. I like Arteta. I want him to succeed. I don't want us to sack him. If he keeps losing games, it's what happens in football. You get sacked. I don't think I have to tell Arteta that. He knows that. He's got to start getting it right. Diogo says, Robbie, why let DT walk out during some watch-alongs? Us fans are missing out on quality content, and he has to show his team support even when they're losing. That's what I told him. Can't just, you got to sit there and take your beating like a man, huh? Robin B says, Saliba is in the Premier League squad, Robbie. He's not in the Europa League squad. I don't think he's in the Premier League squad either at the moment, Saliba. Let's get some more in. Oh, sorry. There's one I missed there. Killer John says, Arsenal have been undermined by lower teams like Leeds, making us look like a right mug. Aubameyang needs to score more, and we need to sign Aouar. I mean, it's a huge game for Aubameyang tomorrow. It really is. He has to score tomorrow. Daniel says, what about the football, Robbie? It's dead. If we win tomorrow, I don't care about the football. We just need a win. We can talk about the style of football. The style of football's been poor. But we need a win. We need a win first before we can even start talking about the style. We need a win. Mishane says, Aziz is a baller. He looked very good in the little cameo the other night. He looking good. Joshua says, Neni and Ainsley Maitland-Niles in midfield. We need mobility in the midfield. Somebody's saying there's 1-0 to Everton at the moment. Is that right? Yeah, let me check that. Is it 1-0 to Everton? It is 1-0 to Everton. He scored for Everton. Penalty, Gylfi Sigurdsson. Okay, that makes it interesting. Might be able to catch Chelsea. It's still early in that game. Still early. Alcarp says, Robbie, what do you think about the Swedish kid Muller playing in the under-23s? Love from Sweden. He's being called the new Zlatan. Way too early to be calling anybody player that, but he's said to be really, really good. I have to be 100% real and say that I've only seen a little glimpse of him. I'd have to see more to give you my true opinion, but apparently he's doing very well. Walid says, Robbie, do you take Depay for 20 million? I would take Depay for 20 million. Although I'm not sure if that's the type of player we need right now is Depay. I'd rather take than Depay from Lyon is Dembele. Dembele, I think, would suit Arsenal. He could be that type of plan B player that we're missing. 89 Tech says you don't have to register a player in the 25-man squad if you are under 21 years old. By the way, big up Don Robbie, love from Singapore. Can we get top 4, says Kangaroo? It's not impossible. Like somebody said last year, Man United were in a similar position to where we are now, and they got top 4. They didn't do nothing with top 4. It was a wasted. They wasted the top 4 place because they then didn't even get through their group. But it's not impossible. Dramatic 12 says, imagine we sack Arteta and later Arteta wins the league with another team. That would be a slap in the face for us. Could happen. Could happen. But we have to do what's best for us at the time. You know? If he's not getting the results, he's going to go. That's football. That is football. Simple as that. Right. We need the Bruno effect, says Muti. It's definitely. Anti says new captain. Certainly a lot of people have been moaning about Aubameyang saying that, you know, they're not seeing him showing a lot of leadership on it. Let's be real. We ain't had a proper captain for... What was that? Who was our last proper captain anyway in Arsenal's team? Proper captain. Who? It's like we don't give much stock to captains. You know what I mean? Like that person being that natural leader, like, you know. So Zaid says, guys, breaking. If Arteta doesn't win the next 3 games, he will be sacked. Not kidding. I think if he lost the next 3 games, he'd have to go. I don't think that would be a shock, would it? If we lost the next 3 games, we'd be in a relegation fight. Killer John says, I'm very shocked that Arsenal are like this. 15th, battling to stay up. Who remembers the olden days? But now, with no good creative CAM, our attack is poor. This club is a joke now. I'm sorry. Well, listen, it's all about turning it around. Do you know what? It's what you learn from defeats. My son's team were playing this morning, and the team that he plays on Saturday, they got beat by the team I think is top of the league. And my son's team, like, I think they were in 3rd place, right? And they made a lot of silly mistakes in the game. And that's what the coach was saying to them afterwards. Go, listen, long way to go in the season. We can still win this league. But what did you guys learn from today so that when you play that team again and once you play the team next week, what did you learn? What do you learn? How do you come back? That's what shows character. Arsenal in a horrible position. If I was a player, I don't want to see stats, worst start since 1981 and all this stuff. What I want to know is how are we going to come through this period? Let's see some players show some real mental toughness. Bellringer 88 says, what big team would sign Arteta? He's way out of his depth. Well, listen, a lot of teams have spoken very highly about Arteta, saying he's, you know, there's been, you know, when he won the FA Cup, there's people saying he's one of the best young managers in Europe. So, you know, Dramatic 12 says, I'd rather do super chats because I know Robbie and everyone else in AFTV are hardworking people. Always going to support, even though you all make me mad sometimes. Thank you, Dramatic 12. Respect for that. Thanks for the super chat. Appreciate the super chats. You don't have to do a super chat to get on, but we always appreciate the super chats. S says we need the Don Robbie takeover effect. If only, you know what? If I owned Arsenal Football Club and I had the money that Kroenke had, I would just, I'd build a team. But this guy don't want to spend no money. Poo Poppy says, Robbie, what happened to the high press? That's what I've been asking. Arsenal scored a lot of goals last season by winning the ball high up the field. It's gone. It's gone. The high press is gone. The pressing's gone. The aggression's gone. The speed's gone. And I think all of that comes with low confidence. When the confidence is low, you're scared to press high in case you lose the ball and you concede. The bravery's gone. It's all gone. Spurs to win the title at the Emirates, says SC. Listen, man, you're dreaming, bro. They ain't winning no title this year either. you know. Still early in the season. Shem says, who? Koscielny was a proper captain. Are you what? Robbie, a lot of our young signings from outside the Premier League have struggled. Why don't we sign promising young EPL players? And Adley says, I don't think the club will sign big if Arteta continues to lose. We might end up with loanees. I'd love Kovac from Monaco, to be honest. Don't forget, by the way, our big competition. The link is in the description. AFTV picks. You can win yourself the Arsenal home kit, away kit, third kit, training kit, tracksuit, loads of Arsenal gear. You can also win a share of £1,500. I say share. If you're the only person to get the most of the questions right, you win all £1,500. Last week, 3 people shared the £1,000 and somebody won a PS5. Free to enter. It does not cost you a penny. The link is in the description. You've got to enter before kickoff tomorrow, right? The link is in the description. All you got to do, click on register. You've got to be over 18, right? So get involved in that right now. Every week for the whole of this season, we are giving away cash prizes and we are giving away great prizes, unrivaled anywhere here on YouTube. So make sure you check it out. We've come to the end of the show today. I hope you've enjoyed it. Of course, it's the big one tomorrow. Arsenal taking on Burnley. I know, as somebody said earlier, Robbie always says it's the big one tomorrow. But it is a big game. It's a must-win game. Let's hope that that team out there goes out there tomorrow and does every Arsenal fan proud and gets us back confident about this team. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back tomorrow. You can win up to £1,500. Yes, £1,500 and an Arsenal hamper. Last week on AFTV Picks, I gave away a brand new PS5. This week, I got all this. The Arsenal home kit, the Arsenal away kit, the Arsenal third kit, training kit, tracksuit, hat, scarf, Gunnosaurus. And you know what? I've even got something for you to put it in. AFTV Picks. If you registered last week, you don't have to register again. It's free. The link is in the description, and get it in before Sunday's game against Burnley.
Is that for me?
No, go and play AFTV Picks like everybody else. Plus, you got all of this.